Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. July 4th today, Independence Day, so it's a holiday. I did not have to go into work, but that only means one thing: I work like a crazy person around here instead. Long story short, whole lot of stuff to do today. We got some rain chances this afternoon, so that further lights the fire under me to get going and get something done. So instead of talking, let's do it. Got the brush hog on the little Ford 8N tractor here today, and I'm going to go up to the field, have a little bit of mowing and some cleanup to do. So we'll just see what happens here. Since I rebuilt this a couple of years ago, I usually don't need any choke. We'll leave that alone. Throttle is set. Key on, neutral. Let's see if it makes a liar out of me. Oh, she runs good. Okay guys, here's what I need to do. Where I have all my pine trees planted here, I need to get rid of this grass that's growing up around them. Like I said in an earlier video, I planted these back in 2012 to kind of start a little bit of a privacy barrier between me and the road and the neighbor over there and everything else. So once or twice a summer, I'll come out here and mow this grass down. It's getting to the point where it's not enough to overtake them now. They're starting to get established a little bit better, but I still have to bud cap these for the winter time so the deer don't come in and eat the leader buds off. Some of these now that are getting tall enough that they don't need to be capped, now I got the dang birds coming in, and when these leader buds are young, they'll perch on them, bend them over, so now I'm starting to have problems with distorting the trees and everything with the birds up there. Next it'll be deer coming in to rub their antlers on them. I don't know. Seems like there's never a shortage of things that try to kill these poor little trees. So anyway, we'll get the 8N out, start cutting all this grass down. And here's the new seeding I put in on the piece of ground here that I worked up with the Farmall H between last fall and then planted this spring. I was out here with the 8N cutting this the other night until about dark. The way the weather's been, we've kind of had these pigweeds coming in just crazy. This right here, that's what I call a pigweed. Tons of them out here, so I went ahead and chopped them down. They'll make good compost. They'll just return back to the earth, but otherwise the clover and grass and everything else is coming in really nice and thick out here. So I could do cover crops to try and choke those weeds out before they come in, but I'm not that good of a farmer. I just put seed in the ground and wait for it to grow. But anyway, I know a couple of you guys have been asking about how the new seeding's going. So far it's looking like it's going to take pretty good. It'll make for some pretty good hay by next year. that's about all I can do in here with the brush hog. The trees are getting too large for me to go in between them anymore, so I usually come up here with the weed whip and finish that off. Trouble is, we've got some weather moving in. It kind of rained on me a couple times, and we got some thunder going on, so it's about time to get off the field until this little patch clears us here. Driving into the rain, look how wet the road is up there. There. Gold darn rain. Wasn't supposed to do this till this afternoon. Oh well. I got home just as it really kind of started, so I might get up to the field yet today and finish trimming around those trees if this eventually passes. If not, well, I'm sure I can find something else to do. So in the meantime, let's just have a walk around the place. I'll catch you up on what's been going on. So I've pretty much got the little land clearing project behind the old little shed that's going to be going away here done. Got that last double oak stump out, kind of filled in the hole, and it's not leveled off, it's not graded yet, but at this point we're planning on leaving this piece of ground for the next year. We're not going to try and get this shed out of here this year. We're going to let all this stuff settle out, let all the holes that we filled in, you know, pack in and settle down, then we'll go and do the final grading next spring, and then that little building's going to be replaced with something right here. Still got the old double oak stumps on top of the ground sitting here. I was able to scratch a bunch of the dirt out of them and chop a few key roots, and I was able to separate the two. That made it a lot easier to roll each one out of the ground. But they're still sitting here because the old man decided he wants to take the pressure washer after one or both of these and get some of these roots out of here and cut into them and see what the grain patterns look like. So he said, just leave them sit there, I'll take care of them. If that was up to me, those things would already be off in the woods. But hey, he wants another project, he can have another project. So there they sit. So for all intents and purposes, the clearing project behind the old shop building is done. We're working on a pretty good burn pile for this winter with all the clearing we've been doing behind that little shed building. A lot of those tops have really been piling up. And speaking of the clearing, these are the logs that we have stockpiled to be made into firewood. So this winter, when I start processing firewood, because I don't like doing it when it's hot outside, I'm not going to have to go far to find my trees to cut, chop, split up to get put in the pile. So we've already got a good start on next year's firewood stockpile right here. So next we'll check out the garden, see how that's going. Start off here, we got 12 rows of corn. And the saying around these parts is to be on track to have your corn ready for harvest before it gets too cold in the fall. The saying is knee-high by 4th of July. We have the first, 2, 3, 4, we have the first 5 rows. Yep, 5 rows is an early corn, so that stuff's actually halfway between knee-high and waist-high on me. We're going to have to move that sprinkler head off that barrel and put it on a higher stand here pretty soon. The remaining 7 rows, that is a later corn. There's about a 13-day difference between the two of those. That stuff's a solid knee-high, so that's all looking pretty good. So the plan is we can get some nice corn on the cob from that early stuff, have time to process that, get it in the freezer, and then by the time that's done, this later corn will roll right in, and we'll still be able to enjoy a bunch of that and get that processed and in the freezer later this summer. Several rows of potatoes here, looking pretty good. Onions, we do consume a lot of onions, so we grow some. These are spaced further apart. They're going to grow and be pretty good size. We'll keep those over the winter. Got some bean plants there, more onions, got some more beans, again more onions. We got carrots, there's some radishes, more carrots. We have some squash and cucumber that don't really seem like they're doing much, but you know, some years things take off pretty well, sometimes they don't. Blueberries right there, excellent blueberries for muffins, cakes, whatever. Rhubarb, that stuff is like an invasive species, you can't kill it. And then we have a bunch of raspberries down here. Again, make some real nice desserts and things like that. Still have the kind of home-built sprinkler set up for when we need it, pulling water from the pond down there. Haven't needed it much lately because it's been raining pretty good. Pea patch over here. We got the grates up, the panels, and they're ready to climb. They're looking pretty good too. So a lot of work keeping a garden, but I do like to eat at the same time, and it's usually enough to hold us all winter long without having to buy too many things from the store, so that's a good thing too. Oh, and I almost forgot tomatoes behind the lean-to here. We didn't put in too many tomato plants this year because we have a lot of tomato paste canned for last year yet, but those 4 plants are looking like they're coming along pretty good, so that should be just enough to hold us. As long as we're out on this end of the place, let's talk gardening again. This is basically the yard debris compost pile right here. You can see where we started with all the leaves from last fall. So it's pretty much the last third to half of this pile. That's the leaves that we chopped up and pulled up off the yard here last fall, because with the trees we have, they get deep. Raking leaves, mowing leaves in the fall is not a small task around here. But what we do is we keep bunching and turning the pile and keep rotating it forward, and eventually you can see it starts turning into a black dirt. By the time we get to this end, we have some pretty rich dark soil that we can go and we can take that and put that on the garden. That helps a lot in this in the sandy conditions we have here. So yeah, compost, we don't take that lightly. That's quite a good mound back there. Okay guys, it's been a couple hours since we did our walk around to the place. I've been out here with the weed whip finishing up trimming around all the trees. Finally got that done. That rain we got sure made it humid out here once the sun came out, and it's pretty hot right now, but I got everything cleaned up pretty well around all these trees, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. But it's looking a lot better. It looks like somebody kind of gives half of a crap about the place anyway. So contrast that with the new seeding, weeds trimmed, ready just to sit there and grow, hopefully soak up this warm humid weather, start growing some decent hay. So it's getting about time to go maybe pick up a little bit of a late lunch. I know I'm pretty much done out here in the sun for a while, so it's supposed to rain this afternoon anyway. Maybe get some shop time in yet today. Well, just like that, the rain is back, so we get that shop time that I mentioned. I think I got enough work, enough time today. I can do maybe another X231 video, so I think that's what I'm going to do. This tube arrived in the mail the other day. I decided that rather than try and salvage the old 2-3 shift rail, which is pretty tough, I'm just going to make an all new one. So this is 5/8 diameter drill rod, exact same diameter as these old shift rails were. Let's just check it in the bores real quick. Well, that should be enough for another X231 installment. It's kind of nice to work on that. I haven't been on that for a while anyway, so look for that video in the next couple of days. But anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap the 4th of July video up right here. As you can see, the rain is back. So really not a lot else to do today. I think it's a good time just to go in the house and see if I can get this video cut, spliced, and put together. Hopefully get it up in time for you guys to see it while it's still July 4th. Although I have a feeling most people aren't going to see it until the 5th now. But anyway, that was July 4th, 2019. If you guys stuck it out this long, thanks for following me around. I'm back to work tomorrow, but the rest of the afternoon, I'm going to get this thing all made, get it to uploading. So as always guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, stay tuned for that new X231 video. I'll upload that in a few days time. So hope the 4th finds you all with better weather than what we have right now.